All right, back again. All right, I hope we can do this a little bit better this time because that was rough. All right, we are back. We are pinned. All right, so let's get Simp on board here. Yeah, I don't know what it was. My audio sounds fine on my end, but his audio sounded rough on his end. Like I said, Sarah, thank you, Sarah. How did Simp sound on your end? I can always, what you think? Were you able to hear him clearly? Are you able to hear me clearly? Larry. Simp's probably like, I ain't messing with these. I ain't messing with these guys. These 12-bit soul guys, man. It's just like I said, real talk. It was sounding like 8-bit Atari games on my end. Um, no, and I couldn't understand. I mean, that was Greek to me, like literally. I was like, what? So, all right, get it. Dun, dun. Welcome everybody. Dope snare. Yes.
Yo, are we good? I got people texting me talking about
Yeah,
Teddy.
Yeah, that was kind of low down, wasn't it though?
No, it's all good. Can you hear me? Can you see
That
me
was
clearly
kind of
now?
low. Yeah, I hear you. It's better. It's not great, but I definitely hear you. The Teddy Riley comment. But yeah, that was good, man. So what's going on, man? I was kind of giving everybody a preface earlier. We run in the same circles. It's funny how the sound design works.
Yep.
Like, it's a small universe. So, but yeah, man, talk about it. Let's get into it, man. How'd you guys get into production? As far as the music production, let's predate the sound design a little bit.
Man, it goes back to middle school, high school, bro. Just beating on lunch tables, man. St. Joe, bro, you gotta quit texting me, man. That's what's chopping up. That's what's chopping up the video. All my partners texting me right now, talking about, bro, you're Teddy Riley. But yeah, man, just
hey. Well, then I'll be Babyface. I got the Pimp C shirt on. You see how I'm doing this for you Texas guys,
right. No,
so,
I mean, just grew up playing in church, playing in band at the schools, and then just, you know how it is. It's a natural progression. Like, you get older, you get into vinyl, you get into beat machines, you get into instruments, and here we are. You know what I mean?
No, that's what's up. Yeah, no, I feel you on that. You talk about beating on lunch tables, but I know there was a time too you guys were beating on the MPC 3000. So what led from lunch tables to the 3000, man?
Man, it's just a natural progression, man. Like, as you fall in love with the craft, you want to know more about it. The music that you're listening to, continues to inspire you. You start to research, what is Dre using? What is Timbaland using? What is Dilla using? So you get into the gear that is quote unquote pro, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So ultimately, that's how the whole sound design progression came about.
Okay. Now, are you guys even still messing with the 3000? I mean, I know in this day and age where you guys are in the land of apps and all that, I know that the 3000 probably seems like a bit of a relic. Are you guys, or is that just ancient history in the scheme of things as far as your production regimen these days?
Yeah, I mean, I actually sold my 3000. So the 3000 that we did have in the camp was mine. I sold it about 2 years ago. I miss it. like every day. I miss it. But those antiquated workflows, bro, the zip disk and the floppy disk, bro, it's like no time for it, bro. No time for
it. Oh, you don't like zip disks?
Not anymore.
Oh,
not anymore, bro.
Oh my God! I'll tell you, I was trying to get. Oh, this is a terrible story. I mean, I need anger management. Like, I was trying to get the zip drive to work, and it just was like it kept spinning. And anybody who knows anything about zip disks, it's like a floppy disk on steroids, but it's a floppy disk on steroids. So it's ancient. It's like a dinosaur. So my zip disk is spinning, and it's not working. And dude, I unplugged it from my 2000 and slammed the drive on the ground.
Yeah, I already know, man. Like once it
just
starts,
took
once
the
it
drive
starts
and
clicking,
slammed it on concrete.
once it starts clicking,
Yeah,
that thing is about to go. Yeah, it's about to go when it starts clicking.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, it was done.
Know,
and I unplugged it, and I shattered the hell out of this thing. It was so I'm kind of traumatized by you bringing up zip disk, but that's my fault. For bringing up the 3000. Oh,
Right.
So no, we're good. We're good. But anyway, man, I know another circle we ran in and started off with was the drum broker circle, man. So was that when you guys were getting acquainted with drum broker? And major shouts to Al Coda, of course, because he's still, definitely the quality control over there is really dope.
Right.
So what was your guys' first kit?
I think it was the
Unkempt. So what was it? Like what?
I think it was the Unkempt Breaks, bro.
Ooh.
Like 2014, Unkempt Breaks.
So, okay, so Unkempt Breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense because I remember, back when the catalog was a lot smaller than what it's grown into now. That Unkempt Breaks was dope, though.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that was the very first project that we did. Go ahead, bro.
No, it's you. You got. Hey, I'm just trying to see, like, so it's from Unkempt Breaks. How did that grow? Like, so what made you guys say, okay, the sound design's really where it's at. Let's put all our force and energy into that.
Well, for me, it was a deal where it's like coming from producing. A lot of guys would always ask me about my drums. They would always ask me about the sounds, and I've always been a guy that would just beat on stuff, record my own material, and then incorporate that into my music. You know what I'm saying? So the sound design almost came as a natural progression to that. You know what I mean? People just kept asking, like, hey, can you do this?
Okay.
Hey, can you do that? And then I was like, you know what? I might as well center a company around the whole entire idea. Me and Al Coda go back actually to my Stonebox days on production. So I had known him like probably 4 or 5 years prior to him starting Drum Broker. So when he approached me about starting hits over there at Drum Broker, he was just getting off the ground, man. And he was a big influence in me actually starting MSX sound design because I was like, I don't want to just throw stuff out there, I hope it sticks. I actually just wanted to make a whole company around everything that I'm interested in. So that's how it started.
Right. Oh wow, that's huge. I mean, and it's funny, we don't do as much with Drum Broker these days, but we keep in touch. And he sent me one of the latest shirts, and it's dope. I mean, he and I've always kept in touch, Al Coda and I, and so it's grown into more of a friendship than the business partnership it used to be. And he's doing well, and I even through all the iterations of these sites and whatnot, it's his site still continues to be like this exemplar for sound design.
Facts. I mean, it's just a testament to how he runs his business, as well as the type of people, the type of vendors, the type of companies that he allows through it. I think right now we are just in a free for all with sound design and sample packs. So anytime you can curate and be boutique, and keep it top notch, you'll always be successful. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. So I think a good segue now would be, speaking of expansions and sound kits, kudos, man, for the new Akai expansion. Dropped today. Tell folks about that. Well, yeah. I don't want to say no shots fired. At Akai, that is. Okay, the expansion that's dropping. If it hasn't dropped, it's about to drop. to at least tell people what they can expect.
So yeah, man, we just it's something that we worked on about 4 or 5 months ago. It's called the Soulful Instruments, um, fully customizable instrument pack for the MPC line. So MPC one, MPC Depths, Akai Force, MPC software, MPC Live 1 and 2 is formatted specifically for all of their new instruments. So playable instruments, you can set up your MIDI keyboard, you can play it on the pads. But yeah, it's just 64 programs, about 64 patches of like dope Rhodes, dope pianos, Wurlitzers, clavs, all kinds of stuff, man. It's really dope.
And I saw something that I think what struck me on there too is, I was running through and, I was just, looking at the description. So you have horns on there. Are those synth horns? Are those live horns? What do you guys? Because horns are tricky. Let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay. So how did you guys go about doing that? Did you get? Were you doing individual horns? Were you doing like a horn section? Because for any sound designer out there, I think horns. I mean, a harp's not easy. If you really want to get technical, but horns are difficult to capture and make them sound lush and rich.
Right. No, these are.
So what did you guys do? Like what? Yeah.
Yeah, these are live horn, multi-sampled horns. You know what I mean? So we get different varieties as far as like expression. Yeah, these are multi-sampled horns. Shout out to our horn guy on the squad, Andrew Hodlin, one of my good friends out here. Yeah, he's a dope trumpet player and musician overall. But yeah, he's the guy for horns with us.
Oh wow, no, that's and that's what I'm saying, because it's just it's tricky, to get the good live horns. It when you hear rich, lush horns. So I'm looking forward to definitely hearing that expansion. So
Sure.
Now how does it rate? Because I know, what are you guys, about 4 or 5 deep now with Akai, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, Soul Provider 1, 2.
As far as number of expansions.
Vintage Provider,
okay,
and instruments. Yeah, so there's 4 from us up with Akai right now.
Okay.
Definitely 4.
Okay.
And y'all go
And
check those out.
all the ones you've done, I mean, and they're dope. Like, it's funny, like I said, when we hear your stuff, and we'll get into the native instruments, that as well. But when I specifically hear your stuff, and the team talks about it, so shout out to definitely Divided Souls, which is Brent, Pat, and Circuit Brent. You guys use effects and effects chains as well as anybody. Like I got to make sure my CPU is running right to make sure I'm hearing the MSX sound right.
Right. So
but seriously though, you guys do it great.
Thank you, man. So with that, bro, like when we do expansion packs, they are actually supposed to be taken as learning tools. So when you're talking about effects, what we're doing, bro, is teaching how you get to a certain sound. So a lot of the things that we're doing, the sample itself is actually dry, bone dry. But then when you get the expansion, the reason why you want to get the expansion is because you're going to get it in a format where it's how we creatively would approach a dry sound. So if you're going through and you're looking through the effects columns on each channel, that's what you should be learning. You're seeing how we're using compression. You're seeing how we're using delays. You're seeing how we're using reverbs. You're seeing how we're using FM modulation and all those LFOs and stuff like that. That's exactly what it's for. What up, Dope Snare? Absolutely, yeah, the maximizer, the whole 9. That's exactly what we're doing.
That's exactly that. Yeah, because I kind of laugh. I'm like, what I've done before, I'm like, I hear this like lush sound that you guys will have, right? Could be keys or some kind of atmospheric joint, and I'll go to the effects chain and I'll start muting everything, and I'll be like, wow, that started off as this synth lead, and now it sounds like this atmospheric, otherworldly, sound. So I think like definitely kudos to you guys for that, because it's
Appreciate it.
because we all hear like I said, anybody who's using this gear hears the various expansions and whatnot. So like I said, you guys do a great job with that. So
Absolutely,
switching gears, jumping companies, Native Instruments, man. You guys are 5 deep with them, right? 4, 5, I think so.
5. Actually, in the middle of one right now too.
Right.
That'll be out.
Okay.
Q4ish. So yeah, definitely like 5. I think 5 expansions.
Well, guess what? Yeah. Well, guess what, brother? We're hot on your heels because we're we're in the middle of one, Q4 in it too. So
Nice.
yeah. So yeah, it is dope. So of all the native expansions you've done, what do you think's your favorite? And I mean, like your personal favorite.
Probably Faded Reels, the one that we just did, the one that came out right at the top of the year this year,
Okay.
2020. Yeah, the Faded Reels is probably my favorite, just because
Right.
we have a little bit more autonomy with the creativity with that one. Super, super dirty sound, but it's mixed. It's like a mixed, dirty lo-fi, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So we had a lot of fun with it.
No, I mean, yeah. And once again, it's lush. It sounds really, strong, and there's a lot of usable elements in there. And I think that's something that and that's another thing too. You don't hear a lot of recycled. You just don't hear recycled product with yours. I mean, because with any expansion, you kind of listen with that critical ear, and you're like, okay, how many of these drums do I already have? How many sounds do I already have? And that's the one thing I think. No, but let's keep it real, man.
I already know.
It's like, okay, you're like, and I'll just say it. It's just say it how it is, right? Some of the sound designers half step, not the whole time, but you'll hear stuff and you're like, they got lazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's facts.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys don't get lazy.
Well,
Snipe doesn't get lazy.
Right. Shout out to Snipe too, my man. Bro,
oh, absolutely.
There's the thing is, bro, there's so much sound that has not yet been explored. I was talking with somebody a few months ago, and he was like, bro, how many drums can you actually have? Like, once you sample all the drum machines in the world, how many more drums could actually be created? And I'm like, bro, if you actually play drums, there's 1,000 different ways you can hit a drum. And then to take it a step further, there's 1,000 different ways.
And then the miking.
There's 1,000 different ways you could tweak a drum sound. So the thing with MSX, what you see from us, bro, is we just stay curious. How much more sound is out there? How much more exploration is out there? We just stay curious, bro. And that's why there's always more new content, more new sounds, more new seasons, more new flavors of what we're doing.
Right. Because it reminds me of, I remember someone some years ago was like, man, all the hot samples have been used. And I'm like, what? Like, so you're telling me of all the music worldwide, there's nothing else left to sample that's dope?
Right. It's not true.
And you know what I'm saying? It's small-mindedness. And it totally. So what you're saying, because I mean, with drums, it's the rooms, the mics, and now with sound design tools, and shout out to Pat, who I'll tell you, he can tweak and freak Ableton sounds. By the way, I'm just shouting him out. What he does with some drum sounds in Ableton is crazy. But so speaking of that, you talk about the Faded Reels joint. You guys also paired that with the play instrument, which I thought was the marketing on that was super dope. How they brought both to market at the same time, so people have the expansion, but then they also have the play instrument as well. So speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, like I mean, I think you I think you covered it, man. It actually is meant to go together. So if you're in the machine kit,
Okay.
you can just pull up the contact instrument for lo-fi glow, and hey, you got drums on this side, you got music on this side. Use the contact instrument, and everything was built so that all sounds will sit well with no matter what kit you're using on faded reels. You know what I mean? So Native did a really good job of actually suggesting, hey, why don't we just wait? Because actually, faded reels was done before the contact instrument. So what they did is just waited to release both at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, and that was, you know, and I know you can speak on it too. It's not, you know, when you bring a product to market, it's iffy. It doesn't, you don't exactly know what the company's going to do in their rollout. I mean, you and I were just texting earlier about this, you know, and I'm not going to get into specifics, so I don't want to air anybody out, and I know you don't either. But, you know, you just don't know. You get it done, you submit it, and you kind of hope for the best, prayer hands. And but with with Native Instruments on this one, like I thought what they did was just really, really special. So I want to, you know, definitely shout them out for what they did with that. So I mean, that was just super dope. So as far as sound design goes, and you were just mentioning, you know, making drum sound, however they, you know, you can take a drum sound, manipulate it. What are some of the sound design manipulation tools that are like, and mention the ones you can. What tools are a must for you? Like you're like, okay, I'm about to go to battle. I'm gonna process and manipulate these sounds. I'm using this.
So check it out, man. A lot of what we do, bro, is external processing. So we use a lot of these pedals. So this is a Chase Bliss warped vinyl, solid plug-in. A lot of the sounds that you hear on faded reels and lo-fi glow coming through here. There's too many tools, bro. Like pedals, apps. Obviously, we have our apps.
Jeez.
There's another one
we're gonna get to that. We're getting to it.
Yeah. But like stuff like this, bro. Don't just don't leave a sound empty. Don't leave it dry. Like get experimental, bro. See where it can go. No. You know what I mean? So that's really all we do. It's
no, really that's true. Now,
go ahead.
Yeah. No, and I think everybody's kind of got their, you know, they've got their tools that they use and all that. I just was curious. Now, is there something? Now, let me ask this: when it comes to layering drum sounds or anything, are you guys big into layering and using apps and pedals for that as well?
Of course. Here, like anything.
Okay. What
goes.
app?
So specifically, like
we're the same way.
Yeah, specifically, if we're gonna use for a certain texture, like we have the app Low-Fly Dirt, and we'll run everything through there. And we've got like vinyl treatment, we've got gritty kind of 12-bit, 22-bit type stuff, sample rate, bit reduction type stuff going on in that app. And then we'll push all the drums through there and send it back into, you know, a program like Ableton or Studio One or something like that, and keep tweaking, keep processing until basically it feels right. And that's the thing, bro. We just make sounds that just feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing too, what you know, but that requires a lot of patience. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand, whether it's a kick, a snare, a hat, whatever it may be, the amount of effort that really goes into texturizing just that one sound.
Well, and I think I tweeted that one day.
And I mean,
yo, can you hear me?
What'd you say?
Oh, what I was saying is,
yeah. What did the tweet say?
Like personally, bro, I don't understand a drum kit with 500 sounds in. Because if you're actually making your sounds, now hear me out. If you're making your sounds and you are spending time with each particular sound so that it can be the best it can be, bro, that takes forever. Like, it takes a long time to design sounds,
yes.
bro, when you actually decide to do it right. But drum kits with 500 sounds, and people are dropping them like, every other week. I'm like, bro, how is that even possible? Doesn't even make sense. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand it either. I don't. Because I don't know how someone, to craft 500 sounds, like,
It's crazy.
it's a lot for the expansions where you got to craft, where you got to put, 2 kicks and 2 snares on a, you know how that layout is, where you got to do basically 100 kicks, 100 snares. That is a lot of work. But to get those to sound different and to get them to mesh.
The thing is, if you care, then you take your time. That's like with anything in life.
Yes.
If you care, you spend time with it. And so I think what we're getting into is a lot of people are not caring enough, and we're in it for what can happen quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is a whole other subject.
No, it is. And I'm sure we could definitely head off on that tangent. No sweat. So, okay. So we're talking about expansions, talking about sound design. Let's ask, okay, so, and you mentioned the apps. What made you decide? I mean, obviously technology is going that way for handhelds and smaller devices. But what light bulb went off to say, yo, we got to do this iOS game. We need to get in and get our app game right?
So 2 things happened. One, we did some work with Beatmaker 3, the company Intuit. So if you guys aren't familiar on the iPad or the mobile music platform, definitely check out Intuit Beatmaker 3. Spoke with them. We did some work with them. We got a couple of sound packs over there. That was when I first bought an iPad, and I saw how far the iPad game had progressed. And then from there, my bro Henny started doing these series of videos. I don't know if y'all remember, but he was doing the Adventures in Beat Making. So he and I spoke.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely. I mean, Henny's. Yeah.
So then he and I spoke, and after that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do an app, bro, just like that. And I wanted something that we could use internally. I wanted something that we could use internally. So anything that you see from us app-wise is something that we first wanted. It was something that we first thought was necessary for what we do every day. So that's kind of the philosophy here. We make stuff for our own taste first. And then if everybody else enjoys it, that's only a plus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I think that's, let's face it, I think that's how a lot of things were. I think things are still done that way, but I think in large part, a lot of things, where bands made music because they thought it was dope and they hoped others thought it was dope. Or, people put out records because that's what they wanted to do, but then other people gravitated to it versus, the sole purpose being, okay, I've got to make $1 million off this app. It's going to be the next greatest idea versus just saying, hey, I want to make something that's usable, dope, and, hopefully others are going to like it too.
Facts. And I think that's how everybody should
so
you
is that where
in what you're doing? I think we got a delay, bro. But what I was saying is I think Spanky, can you hear me?
I'm here, bro.
Okay. Now, what I was saying, I think that's how everybody should move. You got to do something first that you believe in before you even start talking about commerce around that. Just believe it and love it yourself. And then when you put it out, you bring it to market with your passion behind it. That will sell it. You know what I mean? That will make sure that it goes where it needs to go. But if you're just putting stuff out for the sake of just putting stuff out, we're just throwing stuff to the wind at that point. You know what I mean?
True. So is that where low-fly dirt came into play?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's the whole concept. It was something that I wanted to bring for our camp first with our sound design projects. So when we put it out, it was something that was just being used in house. We were working on different projects using the app in house. Then we released the app. People enjoyed it, and I guess the rest is history at this point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's a safe bet. So segueing into the latest, the Chompler app. I'm pronouncing that right, correct?
Yes, sir. Chompler. So
okay,
it's
so speak on that because it looks super dope. So what's the genesis of that one?
So Chompler, hold on, I'm over here clowning. Chompler was an idea that
man, come on, man. It froze, man. You got to work on some artwork, man.
Chompler was an idea, man. We came up with about a year ago. We started working on it about a year ago. I wanted to bring my platform to the mobile arena. So that's really what Chompler is for now. So in its current state, it's a Rombler. We will be bringing sample import. We will be bringing much, much more. But its current state is a place that a lot of the audience that rocks with MSX, that rocks with us, can take the music on the go. Simple as that for now.
Okay. So, and I think that's, and the app game, and that's one of the things that really differentiates you guys, man, is the fact, because let's face it, a lot of people can put out sound kits, then it narrows down to only so many people can do the expansions. Then it narrows greatly on how many people are putting out apps. So what other apps you guys, I mean, I know you guys have other ideas, but what do you see on the horizon as far as you guys in your app game? Is there anything you can kind of share and let people know what's going on?
Can't speak on that right now. Can't. But in this season, what I will say is in this season, Chompler is one of 3. So Chompler is one of 3 that's on the way.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
I don't do.
All right, man.
I
knew when I asked.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of talking, man. We just work, let the chips fall, bro.
No, and you got to. I mean, and I get it. Like I said, I mean, I asked the question. It's one of those things. If you don't ask, you don't get. But I already kind of knew the answer before I asked it. So,
right.
But yeah, I mean, I had to ask. Yeah, it is what it is, right? So okay, man. You're a huge user, aficionado, whatever you want to say, of Roland's SP404. Get into that a little bit. That's become such a cult favorite. What is it about the SP404 that you just love?
And just to be honest, it's like one of the coldest, most affordable effects boxes a producer could have. Period.
Okay.
It doesn't cost a terrible amount of money.
So what is it about it? No.
It's submersed. Yeah, not even that, but it's submersed in the culture. You know what I mean? Like you think about hip hop, lo-fi music, you think about the SP404. And so there's this fascination with the 404 to 303 because, Madlib used one. It is what it is, bro. It's like
true.
Go ahead. Yeah, and like that's the thing, man. The SP404
so I mean,
it's one of the most unique effects boxes that I've ever had the pleasure of messing with, because there's 25, 26 different effects on there that you can route sounds to, and it's incredible, bro. Like I don't sequence anything on it. I don't make beats on it. I literally just run sounds through it, and it does its job. You know what I mean?
Oh wow. Okay, because that was my next question. Just kind of piggyback off the original question was, do you use it to really do beats? But no, you're just using it as an effects box.
Yeah, it's a sound design tool, bro. It's like a pedal for me, anyway. For me, now, I know a lot of guys that are actually using it for full-on production. That's just not my style, but it's more than capable. You know what I'm saying? But for me, It's just another tool for sound design. That's exactly the affinity for it. It's just a tool for sound design.
Okay. Yeah. And as we know, there's pretty much anything can be a tool for sound design if you're,
Right.
you know, the limits are your imagination, really, when it boils
Right.
down to it.
Right. Absolutely.
You know.
Couldn't agree with
So,
that more.
so what are some of your, you know, I mean, so as far as any other gear, what's some must gear? Because I'm about to segue into something else.
Okay.
But what's some of your must gear right now today for, you know, you and the MSX squad?
The iPad. The iPad.
I'm done.
Yeah.
All right, folks, it was good talking to everybody tonight.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, goodness.
So much right now is being done on the iPad.
Okay.
I hate to try to play you like that, but I mean the iPad is such a necessary piece. Like,
No, I like I'm used to it.
I'm on the iPad every single day, bro. Every single day. So, you know, being able to use the iPad.
And I'm going to tell you this. And I want to be totally transparent. I haven't made that segue to iOS. I haven't, and I use an iPhone. I haven't gotten an iPad yet to do production, or I haven't got an iPad to do anything with yet, really. But so what is it about? So what is it about the iOS that's just like spurred on your creativity? Because you're not the only one, but I know you're a huge advocate of iOS production. So what is it about the iOS world that you like so much?
The fact that I can pick it up, go to the park with my kids, let them play, and still make music. I can pick it up, go to my bedroom, hang out with my wife, let her watch shows, and then boom, boom, boom. I'm just making music with headphones on. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's about the mobility aspect of the iPad. You know what I'm saying? I can pick it up, make music. I can just do my thing, bro, and not have to be stationary in front of my computer, in front of my studio. And sometimes when you take yourself outside of your normal environment, you make better music. So really, that's what the iPad is for me, man. That's what the iPad is for me. It's a way to continue to do what I do every single day, but just with the freedom of being able to do it wherever. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. No, I get that. So with the iOS, what are some of your like main apps on there that you just really dig besides your own, of course? What are some of your favorites?
This one.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's get into it, man. There's this one here. Beatmaker 3. So a lot of
of course. I'm Sir Brent's a huge fan of Yeah.
So Beatmaker 3 is definitely
Beatmaker 3. It's just
This app right here is called AUM. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's called AUM.
Okay.
So that app, and then I'll show you a couple of sound apps that I think everybody should have that are ultimately familiar on the outside world. So this is the Moog Model D app.
Okay.
So that's like a go-to for me. And that, like basically anything that you have on the outside world, Mellotron, Juno, any type of keyboard that you typically like that's mad expensive, there's probably already an app for it. And so a lot of people don't really understand that you can go buy that app for $5 and essentially have the same sound that you have outside.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I would encourage everybody, like if you're serious about making music, you want to make music any time of the day, definitely check out the iPad, check out the iPhone for music. Shoot, I think GarageBand is even free. Like when you buy an iPhone, GarageBand is already on it. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
There's really no excuse. You can make music wherever at this point.
No. And now, are you using the iOS joint for? Are you using it for any sound design, or are you using it just to do some production?
Nah, of course, sound design all day, all day. Like I said, we have Fly
Okay.
Tape.
Okay.
I use my app, so we have Fly Tape, we have Low Fly Dirt, now Chompler. But yeah, man, we run sound out of the desktop onto the iPad, back to desktop all day long. That's what we do all day.
Yeah. No, I mean, and like I said, I mean, I think that's definitely being cutting edge and stepping outside of the box. I've got to get I got to get a damn iPad. I just I don't
Your
know.
game
There's
up, bro.
part of me that's the old school. I mean, I think that's partly why I rocked the Pimp C shirt tonight. I was like, obviously the fact Texas with the Pimp C, but then I was just like, I think Pimp was so old fashioned in his production and what he used. And sometimes I get caught up in that same rut too. Like I use a lot of the same setup that I've always used. So I think having you on tonight too also sheds light. Is just like, all right, man, I don't have to keep using reel to reels. I can actually use a DAW these days, so to speak. And no, everybody, I do use a DAW.
Well, that's one of the things, man. That's one of the things I was talking about earlier, bro. Is like the exploration of sound. Like, to get experimental, sometimes you have to remove yourself from what's comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm always sticking to my MPC, I'm always sticking to my SP, if I'm always sticking to, Machine or Ableton Push, like my sound, my music will continue to always go and divert to this one box. But when you introduce something that's unfamiliar, you introduce something that's new, that's when your sound can evolve. And I think a lot of producers kind of get stuck in like the 90s or the 2000s. But like I said earlier, there's so much music that has not been explored. There's so much music that hadn't been explored yet. It actually becomes more fun when you actually take yourself outside of your normal box and insert things that, okay, this might be a little bit uncomfortable, but I know I'm having fun and I'm getting new sounds from that.
Yeah, because that's true. Because anytime you have something new, I don't want to say it's impossible to approach it in an old way, but it forces you into a new pattern. It forces you into a new routine. It really does.
Absolutely.
So I totally get that. I didn't mention it. I've obviously got the comment pinned, but make sure you guys head over to MSX Audio. Go cop the sampler pack. It's type in 12-bit. You get it free. It's only up for 24 hours. Obviously, don't go over now because we're still live, unless you're going to multitask on another piece of equipment. So let me ask this too, man. Let's see. I had 2 pages worth of questions. So what's the story on, and you and I didn't get a chance to talk about it at NAMM when we ran into each other, because that's usually what it is. We run into each other and then, we're off in our different directions. But what happened? What was the story on the Migos placement, man? How did that transpire? What transpired? And what advice would you give to, up and coming sound designers to land something similar as far as a placement like that?
So that one, man, is just business as usual, bro. It's like, that's from our Lo-Fi Melodic series. That particular sample is from our Lo-Fi Melodic series. Shout out to my bro, CJ Wheeler, incredible musician. So he and I, we locked in. Lo-Fi Melodics producer bought it. Shout out to Nonstop with 808 Mafia. And he called me. He said, "Hey, bro," he said, "I think we got one with the Migos." And he was like, I won't know until the record comes out. But sure enough, like, it was on there, worked out the whole thing, you know what I mean? Got everything situated. What my advice for producers when it comes to samples and things like that and trying to chase placements, like, bro, just work. Just enjoy what you do. Let everything else happen. You know what I'm saying? Let everything else happen. I see a lot of guys that are mad zealous and mad eager to hurry up and put their stuff out there, hurry up and try to, like, shop sounds and shop placements with people. And well, all that stuff kind of takes care of itself when you just enjoy what you're doing. When you enjoy what you're doing, you put it out for the world to enjoy, to critique, and then you stay consistent with it. Everything else will work itself out. You know what I mean? Yeah, like what's his name? Hip Hop Hobby Club.
No, no,
He
yeah,
said, be yourself. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it is. Just be yourself. Do what you do. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks, and be consistent in that. And that's really the secret, bro. Just be consistent in that.
no, yeah, and it's hard, you know. I mean, it's hard. I mean, because you know, I'm comfortable in my skin. You're comfortable in your skin. Um, but it's hard for a lot of people to be themselves in a world that stresses conformity. You know what I'm saying? And so
Right.
it takes a lot of guts and patience, sometimes money, to be yourself. So I think that's not an easy thing. It's easy for us to say be yourself, da 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 da. But it's not always that easy when you see your peers going in a different direction. So
Well,
I
but
think
the thing with that is, like, I
it's
think
extremely important, but it's challenging.
the thing with that is, you're saying it's easier for us like that, but the thing is, man, like if people if they would get off the line and stop looking at everybody doing something, because all you're doing is essentially comparing your
Yes.
situation to what the homies got, what the other friends got, you know, what this company did. Like, pull back sometimes. Like, pull all the way back. Don't be online looking at what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? It's like we live in a society now where it's like everybody's trying to one up somebody. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to, like, yo, I got to post, I got
Yes.
to announce, I got something coming, I'm dropping this. And it's like, I always need to stay ahead of the next man, bro. And it's like, that's trash. You see what I'm saying? It's trash. Everybody is unique. Everybody brings something unique to this
Right.
earth. And we need all perspectives, bro. You know what I mean? So, again, be yourself. Stay consistent with being yourself and doing what you enjoy. Not what everybody else likes or what you think they'll like. Do what you enjoy. You feel me?
No, and I mean I think that, and that's perfect because that kind of transitions into really like one of the last kind of points and questions I want to bring up is,
What up, Lone Star?
so you know, and I alluded
What
to
up,
it the
Lone
other
Star?
day. So how is it with, okay, MSX being black owned, sound design? How do you guys feel, and with all the social upheaval that's been going on, that's obviously been bubbling for decades and centuries, obviously. But how do you guys feel as far as what's your position as far as pushing the sound design movement forward, but also getting some of these companies to start looking at black owned companies differently and treating those individuals differently? Because let's face it, man, and you know this, I know this, when you go and you look at these companies, they
Mm-hmm.
look more like me than
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
what's
might be the
MSX? What do you guys feel like you can do to help shift that?
I might be the wrong guy for a question like that as far as being concerned about how they view us. I don't care. And I mean that with the utmost
Okay.
respect. We don't pander here. You know what I mean? We don't pander for approval. We're not looking for acceptance, if that makes sense. We work and we build with who wants to
No,
build
it's
with us. You feel me? Like, we rock with who rocks with us. So if you show love, we show love back. You know what I'm saying? If we see that, what's the term that everybody's using right now? Um, um, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Where they're posting the black squares.
wait.
What's the term that they're using right now?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I can't
Which
even think of the
term?
term, but basically, in a nutshell, let me break it down. In a nutshell, what companies are doing is, it's trendy right now to be on the side of black folks. It's trendy right now to be on
Oh,
the
no,
side
no,
of,
absolutely.
yeah. But see, the thing is, bro, like, we are not concerned with being a part of something else or having a seat at somebody's table. Like, bro, we're trying to build our own tables. And I think more brothers, more
Right.
minorities, more brown people to start looking at building their own tables. You know what I mean? We need to like actually like pull back
And
from
that's
this.
yes.
Like for so long, bro, we've been so happy to participate. We've been so happy to be noticed. We've been so happy to
Right.
get a retweet. Oh, Ableton retweeted me, or Akai retweeted me, and like that makes our day. You know what I mean? Like we gotta shift everything back to ownership. Ownership, bro. That's the key.
True.
The key is ownership. Because then when you own,
Dude, I
go ahead.
no, I'm saying, Simp, you are the right person to ask because your response is, in my opinion, spot on because it comes down to economics. And
Facts.
so if you do not have bargaining chips at the bargaining table, you're not going to be able to bargain. And so, and that's what I'm saying. So it goes back to the ownership thing, and kudos to you guys for making your lane independently, independent and, with these companies too, because at the end of the day, the companies are going to you and saying, okay, what can you do for us?
Right.
But what I want to know, I mean, what advice do you give some of these sound designers that want to carve their own lane? Some of these, black and brown brothers out there, sisters that are out there that want to carve their own niche like you guys have done. What recommendations you give them, man?
I say do it, but don't be desperate. And by that, what I mean is you might have to start a company, but you might have to work your job, bro, for 3 or 4 or 5 years while you're building it. And the reason why you might want to do that is because you will be afforded the opportunity to say no. A lot of people start companies and everything that comes along, I got to take it. And right then and there, you've already diluted your brain. You know what I mean? So my advice is, bro, come in the game, assess where you can add value, stay consistent, be yourself. But bro, don't pander. Don't be so hyped that you say yes to absolutely everything. Be okay with saying no. Be okay with not being pimped, not being whored out for, the sake of a few bucks, for the sake of a contract, for the sake of a retweet. You know what I mean? And it's much easier said than done when the company
I
says,
do.
Oh, go ahead. I was saying it's much easier said than done when the
No,
company
brother,
says, hey,
keep going.
some keyboards. Company says, hey, we're going to send you some keyboards. We're going to send you some sounds. We're going to send you some NFRs. We're going to send you a check. It's easier said than done. You know what I mean? But I think when you move with integrity, like my boy Joe said, when you move with integrity, you can understand that ownership is everything, and you have to maintain a certain level of excellence in order to attract what you're trying to attract. You know what I mean? So be yourself. Don't be desperate, and don't be afraid to say no sometimes, man.
Hey, man, you know what? I think the ghost of Pimp C is smiling up there because, no, but real talk, you couldn't have summed it up any better, brother. And guess what? We're gonna end it right there because that's the power I want to end it on because it's beyond sound design, it's beyond music production. It goes back to taking things back and creating our own lane and seeing, more people like yourselves carving that niche, brother. So I appreciate what you do, appreciate your time, and like I said, I'll see you sooner than later.
For sure. Appreciate you, man. I'm honored. Shout out to Club Bit Soul. Shout out to everybody on. Hey, real quick, I think Dope Snare. I didn't want to forget Dope Snare. I think he said he had a question if he's still on.
All right, yeah, for sure. And if anybody else has some questions before IG turns the lights out on us, fire it away. No doubt. And yes, King Harris, Simp did come with that heat tonight. Absolutamente. So,
yeah, if Snare's still on, man, I'll answer this question or he can hit me offline.
All right, bet. Like I said, brother, appreciate your time. I'll catch you in the expansion world for sure. All right, bro?
Already, man. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, man.